Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? This is Joe Figueroa with another video in our series, The Science of Salsa. An in-depth look at the whys but also the hows of all things salsa and mambo. Dancers should be able to practice this material, either individually or with a partner. This week's video is going to be a new idea on an old move, or preparation. Usually I do new ideas on old moves, but this opens the door to all sorts of new ideas on old moves, by being just a prep. So here's your chance to subscribe and ring the bell, because we're starting right now. Okay, so a while back I posted my first SOS video on prep steps. In case you haven't seen it, I'll post a link, but I'm going to gloss over it as well. You see, as a dancer, I've come to realize that all dance movements consist of certain constants, certain components that need to be in place in order for the movement to exist. I believe in three. Only three basic preparations for follows in salsa. Leads have two, follows have three. Now some might think that they have seen any number of preparations for follows on the dance floor, but that's the illusion of it. If you break them down as I have, you see that they are just variations of the three. I'm doing a follow-up on the Science of Salsa preps video for my Patreon account soon to show how styling preps come into play. This one, I've been struggling with defining. Is it a fourth preparation, or is it a variation of the existing three? So we're going to explore this. Here it is. It starts off with the lead moving toward the partner, either straight forward or coming from the follow's left side over to their right. This sort of thing, meeting in the middle, is very common. What Terry does here is move past the follow on her right side. He's doing this on the preparation, the counts of 1, 2, 3 if you're dancing on 1, 6, 7, 1 if you're dancing on 2. Typically, these steps would be the normal basic steps, back with the right, rock stepping back to the center. What Terry has done here is trusted that she's going to accomplish the standard basic steps and employs a concept that I use all the time. Quoting Bruce Lee again, have no way as way, no limitation as limitation. For me, it's have no lead as lead. See, in dance, sometimes doing nothing is doing something. Here's an example. Terry wants to create what I refer to as a press line, making the follow pivot on their third step, whether that be on 3 or on 1. Here it's on 1, so I'm going to count it that way. For the lead, this requires nothing more than moving toward the follow, literally walk toward them, or across them. Either way, it's just 3 steps. During those 3 steps, which is the follow's preparation, the lead needs to brace the follow, get them into their frame. Otherwise, the follow won't feel the change in direction that's about to come. Once the lead has taken those 3 steps, meeting the follow in the middle and getting the follow in frame, we can use our arm at the back to make the follow pivot on their third step, their right foot, to the right, changing their direction to face the other way, informing them that the movement is going to go back to their original position. Now the movement could be any number of things, but we're going to go with standards: crossbody lead, inside turn, and maybe a fake. In this version, Terry is leading Busra into what I refer to as a back-led inside turn, meaning that Busra is going to feel Terry on her right side as if he is in her space during the coming turn. Usually, a lead would have the follow pass them while being on their left side. Terry leads Busra into the inside turn with the arms free, giving her the opportunity to style her arms up. Terry takes his eyes off her for a moment during her inside turn as he turns to his left during the counts of 2, 3, and 5. Looking over his shoulder to gauge where she is, Terry reaches out and picks up Busra with his hand at her back by the count of 6. This is where it happens. Terry, who at this moment is at Busra's left side, now needs to step toward her and across to her right side to execute this. He wants to change her direction again. He's already stepped 6 and 7. On 1, Terry steps forward, beyond Busra. The handhold that he placed to her back informs her that he wants to change her direction. As she steps her 6, 7, and eventually 1, the arm hold Terry has on her gives her the feel to turn to her right, facing the other direction. Once Busra has pivoted to face the other end of the line, Terry can execute whatever he intended. In this case, another inside turn led by her right hand. Now most follows might rush through the steps to achieve this, but the best thing to do is to stay with the pace you've already been dancing. Everything you need is there. Follows, look at how Busra doesn't panic when this avant-garde change in direction is given to her. She knows that the magic is in the void, like I've said before. After stepping 6, 7, and 1, feeling the arm at her back, bracing her, and changing her direction, Bousra holds firm with her weight on her right foot, pivoting on it in between 1 and 2. She even takes this moment as a styling opportunity, raising her left knee and tucking her foot back, showing that she applied all her weight to her right for the pivot. Once turned to the opposite direction, she steps down on 2 and begins to move past Terry for the aforementioned inside turn. This happens 3 times by my count in this dance, each time executed with perfect precision and grace by both. This version is tricky, but what does Terry do that isn't tricky, right? After a complicated progressive turn for Martina, unwrapping at her neckline, he leads her toward him with a stretch effect in the hands, creating the feel of a cumbia or copa break. They trade places in the process, placing Terry where Martina was and Martina where Terry was. Terry released her left hand he had in his right and traces his right across her back, using this contact to brace her like we saw with Bousra in the first one. Here is where Terry executes the same footwork we saw before, just 3 steps, coming from Martina's left side to her right. Terry steps across the line during 6-7-1. The hold at her back informs Martina of her change in direction. She takes her regular prep steps and pivots just as Bousra did, even down to the raise of knee. Now, did Bousra and Martina discuss this beforehand? No. Did Terry somehow make them raise their knee for styling? No. He simply provided a window of opportunity and they took it. This one also ended in an inside turn, but I like how in this one Terry leads Martina's hand down so that it wraps behind her back, taking her into the next movement. I've been watching this video of Terry and Mitsue for weeks now, studying one movement in particular, but that's for another video. In my research, I found this example of what I've been talking about in this video. All the components are here. Terry leads Mitsue into a back-led inside turn. Her hands are free. She kept them close to her body during the turn, probably still processing what the last movement was, and kept her arms in to be safe. After she passes, Terry first braces her with his arm at her back and steps across her 6-7-1. That's her preparation for the next movement, which has already begun. After changing Mitsue's direction, Terry leads a double inside turn and dances on from there. So what can we deduce from this? In each version, the follow took the normal prep steps of a regular basic. The change in direction happens immediately after those 3 steps are taken. So isn't it just a basic step with a change in direction on the 3rd step to guide the follow in a different direction? A new idea on an old move? Or is this a 4th type of preparation? A press line at the end of the prep which requires specific training to learn? Difficult to say, but fun to think about and even more fun to test. Okay, that's going to do it for me. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. This content is for you to benefit from, so any feedback that you can give me will be greatly appreciated. Comments, likes, and even dislikes will help me to provide you with the best content that I can. So do me a favor and hit that like button, subscribe and ring the bell if you haven't already. I'll see you in the next one. And remember, keep dancing.